Hi, this is a video on the ALFORT Selfie Stick Bluetooth tripod. Now I bought this selfie stick Bluetooth tripod on Amazon for £6.49 and it is one of the cheapest tripods I have bought. There is no deals on there at all. That's what you pay from Amazon. Now I'll quickly go around the box. Because Amazon's put their sticker on there, it's covered up most of it, but basically it says at the top, wireless remote shutter for iOS and Android users. We have a girl or woman posing in front of the selfie stick with its tripod legs out, floor mounted, and we have a picture, I can just about see it, of a person's hand with the selfie stick spanned across the hand like so. We have another picture of a woman here with the selfie stick out. On this side it's just explaining about you cannot twist the actual selfie stick with the grooves in there in the seam, but I'll come to that later on. The various colours that they sell it, that they come in. Now bear in mind, Amazon does not sell the black version. I think it's just only the white version it sells. It just got that it's capable of taking pictures, movies, and the distance of the remote control Bluetooth shutter that's used can only go 10 meters in distance, made in China. On the back, the use of 3-foot instructions, basically showing you how to apply the tripod legs, but I'll come to that later on in the video. Same here, the woman is trying to show you how to apply the legs. The Bluetooth shutter button along with the selfie stick on its tripod legs. Woman posing, once again showing you how to use the tripod legs and how to enclose the shutter button on its holder. And on the side here, just a family there. Picture of the remote control again with the Bluetooth shutter and the tripod selfie stick, and same thing there again. Now it tells here at the bottom the actual weight, and it's 135 grams, and the actual model of the selfie stick. Now this is what you get in the box, is the selfie stick tripod itself and also the shutter button with holder. Now before I go into the selfie stick and show you around that, this is the shutter button and I'm going to show you how to connect it. Now this is one of the most simple and easy shutter buttons to connect to your phone. Now this is a generic shutter button. Various manufacturers make them and you can buy them on eBay or Amazon as low as £1 depending on the company that's selling them. Now all you have to do is on the side here there is a small switch. At the moment it's in the off position, so when it's down it's in the off position. When you flick it up it's in the on position and you'll get an LED flashing there. Now when you get it, that LED will flash continuously, meaning that it's in a pairing mode. You go to your phone. Now whether you are iOS or Android user, you go to settings, then Bluetooth. Android users, when you go to your Bluetooth, make sure that your Bluetooth states that the device is visible. On iOS, just simply go to Bluetooth, scroll all the way down the bottom, and what you'll do is this will come up as AB Shutter 3 at the bottom. You tap it and then it will just pair. It will ask to pair. Now if it asks for a number, it's either 4 zeros, so 0, 0, 0, 0, or 1, 2, 3, 4. Once you get that, it will come up on here as, try and get this into focus for you, it's a bit difficult. it'll come up as AB shutter 3, and you just simply connect. So if I press that, it should connect to it, hopefully. Now it's connected to it. It will take at least up to 10 seconds to connect, but it will connect to it, and it will see, as you can see on there, blue AB shutter 3 connected. So that's how you connect this shutter button. They're very easy to connect. On here, it's generally that button at the top what says iOS is the photo button. Now on some of these generic buttons, which look similar to this, that takes the photo, that takes the video. It all depends on how the manufacturers have programmed this unit. So be aware of that. But I'll show you how this one is programmed from ALFORT. Now this is the selfie stick tripod. Now I'll fold that out. We'll start off with the actual phone mount. What we have here is a rubber phone mount at the top here and rubber at the bottom here. Now it's not the most grippiest rubber, I have to admit. It's not really that grippy. It's just a feeling of rubber, but there's hardly no feeling of grip. We have a nice rubber tab here to extend, to pull out the mount, and it is spring loaded, as you can hear. Now, considering that this is a very cheap selfie stick from this company, they've actually put here, which is great, they've put a thumb screw, and I have to admit it's one of the largest thumb screws I've come across on a selfie stick. That is quite big. So that's quite wide. But we got an adjustment here and tightening of the mount with this thumb screw, so that's brilliant. Then we come down to the shutter button holder here, which is just a simple C-shape holder to hold the shutter button. And we have now the handle stroke legs of the selfie stick, and on here it says Huawei-01 in a kind of calligraphy writing there. Now the whole entire thing is plastic, and I have to say it feels like cheap plastic. It actually does feel like cheap plastic. Now when I first got this, it was a puzzle how to connect how to extend the legs. Now on the box it tells you how to extend the legs, which is no problem, but it doesn't tell you how to firmly keep the legs extended out. It doesn't tell you that. So I had to do a bit of trial and error to find out how to keep the legs extended out. Now I'll show you how to extend the legs out. First of all, you're going to have to pull the shaft out here, or the stem, and pull the holder up. You extend the legs out like so. So the legs are out, and as you can see, there's nothing holding the legs at the moment. And what you do is, and I'll try and get this on camera, this unit here where the legs are, you're going to have to do a 1/4 inch turn, just a simple 1/4 turn like so, as you can see, and that keeps the legs firmly extended out. Now I'm just going to quickly go over the legs. The legs feel absolutely cheap, and they're made of a thin plastic. They are one of the most thin legs I've ever come across. There is no rubber at the end of these legs at all, absolutely no rubber. It's just plastic all the way through, and they feel absolutely flimsy, even extended out with the tripod extended out with the stem closed with no phone on there, and it still feels light, very light, and not secure. Now When it goes by the length of the selfie stick, I do not go by what the manufacturers state, because they measure the length of a selfie stick from the bottom of the handle to the top of the phone mount. So I don't go by that, because you lose inches on the handle when you hold it, and you lose inches where the phone mount is. So the true length to me is between the bottom of the phone mount here and the bottom and the top of the handle. And with this particular selfie stick, between these 2 points here, it is 15.5 inches. So this extends out to 15.5 inches when fully extended. Now, when you extend this selfie stick out, it is like the traditional old car aerials. When extended out, it uses friction to keep it in place. So you don't need a twist motion with this at all. So when you pull it out, you don't need to twist it to lock each section into place. It's just simple pull out like the old-fashioned car aerials. Also, this stem is an aluminium stem with a groove cut down the middle of it. That's for added strength, but it only has one groove. Now, as I stated before, I like the top of the mount here. I like this adjustment screw here because it's actual a thumb screw, considering that the price of this thing, it's an actual thumb screw, and it's one of the largest thumb screws I've ever come across to make your adjustment and keep your adjustment angle of your phone. Now, the actual mount at the top here does not go into a portrait mode. This is one of these selfie sticks that you're going to have to, when you want to take a portrait picture, you're going to have to turn the whole selfie stick like so to get a portrait picture. So it only holds the phone in landscape. It's a pity that this couldn't swivel, so you can have a portrait mode. Now, when it comes to taking a picture and using the remote control shutter button, some remote control shutter buttons on the selfie sticks actually mute the sound of the shutter, on your phone. Now we'll see if this one mutes the sound when we press it. And that's just coming the way, but as you can hear, it takes the photo. Now I'm going to put it in video mode, and let's see if it mutes the sound in video mode. No. And as you heard, it doesn't mute the sound. Now, some people are going to ask about the second button. So what I'm going to do is, even though the second button says Android on it, and this is an iPhone, and the top button there says iOS, which is obviously for iPhone, I'm going to press the Android button here to see if that will actually start the video recording. So I'm going to press it, and it starts the video recording, and see if it ends it. And it ends the video recording. So both buttons do exactly the same thing when it comes to video recording. When it comes to photographs, I'm going to press the button that says Android at the bottom. It takes the photo. So both buttons do exactly the same thing, even though they got written on there iOS and Android. With this particular shutter, it does the same thing. Right, those of you who are subscribers to my channel or watch this channel and they're not subscribers, now round about now in this half of the video is I normally show you what this selfie stick tripod looks like with the legs out extended with the phone on. Now I ain't gonna bother with that, because for £6.49, I know that's a cheap price, but this feels absolutely cheap, and the legs feel absolutely cheap on this. They are the most thinnest plastic legs I've come across. Now I have come across another selfie stick what was just as cheap as this and said it was not worth buying. this falls into that category. That's why I've not demonstrated how it looks when it's floor standing or when it's on a tabletop, because the legs are absolutely flimsy even with the phone not placed in the phone mount. Now this is my 2p worth, and I'm going to start off with the negatives, and there's quite a few of them. First negative has to be about the legs. The legs on this are very, very thin, very, very flimsy. It is not even worth extending them out to show you. Just not worth it. This is just worth using it as a regular selfie stick. Another negative is the plastics that this thing uses. Very cheap, absolutely very cheap, and it feels cheap. Feels really light and very cheap. It is not well made neither. This part up here at the top here is for a lanyard, and that became loose. That actually came loose, so that's a no-no. The rubber for the phone mount doesn't even feel like, you know it's rubber, but it doesn't feel like rubber. It just feels like a kind of I'd say similar to the rubber that you get on bicycles for the brake blocks. If you remember the brake blocks on your bicycle, it feels like that kind of rubber. It's very smooth but not rubbery. It's suited for brake blocks on a bicycle than a phone mount. On a phone mount. The springs in this sound and feel like they're rusted. Even though there's no sign of rust, but they feel very rusted. So that is an absolute no-no. The stem, when pulled out, even though it just feels like they've took this off cars that were made in the 80s. So if you remember in the 80s, the old pull-out 80s, 70s, 60s, the pull-out aerials, it's like when they scrapped those cars, they took the aerials from them and used it to make the shaft of this selfie stick. That's how it feels. It actually smells of metal as well. When I took this out of the box the first time, you didn't even smell the plastic. I give it that. You didn't smell the plastic, but you smelt the metal. And the way I see it as, out of all the selfie sticks and poles I reviewed, you never actually smell the actual metal. You can smell this one. So that's how cheap this thing has been made. The holder that holds the shutter button feels very flimsy, very delicate, and if you was to drop this selfie stick by accident, even on a wooden floor, it would break, literally break. So it's just cheaply made. Now for the advantages. One of the advantages is the generic shutter button on there, because even though this thing is made cheaply and does not even worth that price of £6.49, the shutter button is still useful, even just for using it just with your own phone without on a normal tripod, or buying yourself a tabletop tripod with a holder for your phone. That shutter button is useful. So that's an advantage with that, and they're easy to set up to your phone. So that's an advantage with that. Another advantage is the actual thumb screw on there. Considering that it's a cheap selfie stick tripod, they provided you with a thumb screw. Now, some of the other manufacturers of selfie stick tripods should be aware of this. Thumb screws on your tripod, your selfie sticks, are a lot better than just having a simple screw in there, because not everybody walks around with a screwdriver or a Swiss Army knife or a Leatherman. Not everybody walks around with one of them to make the adjustment in the screw if it becomes loose for the phone mount. So please take advantage of that, manufacturers. Please take heed to that. Provide a thumb screw for the adjustment and tightening of the mount. And the last advantage is, and I call it an advantage, if you've got kids, I would say probably from 11 years downwards, right? And they wanted a selfie stick. Kids are not fussed what quality selfie stick they get as long as it's a selfie stick. And this, if you're going on holiday and you're bringing your kids, as I say, from the ages of about, I'd say 6 years old to 11 years old, I would get them this selfie stick. Because if they lose this selfie stick or damage this selfie stick, it's not taxing on the pocket for what you paid for it, and it's cheap. So if they lose it, you're not taxing your pocket with a lot of money for this selfie stick. So this, for an advantage, if you want to call it an advantage, give this to your kids if you're going on holiday or days out, or if they want to use it around the home or whatever. This is a good selfie stick for them. But for yourself, spend your money. I've done reviews on other selfie sticks that are worth their money, if not worth more than their money, what they're selling it for. So look at the other videos of my selfie sticks and avoid this ALFORT one. It feels cheap, it's made cheap. The only good thing is probably the remote on it. Now, if you've bought this particular selfie stick, please leave down in the comments section what you thought of this selfie stick. Oh yes, I've missed out one thing, and I might as well mention it. This can take large phones, so don't worry about that. It can take large phones because the width. So if you've got the largest notes, your Samsung Galaxies, your iPhone XLs and Pluses, it can take those kind of phones. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you don't like this video, please give it a thumbs down. Please subscribe to my channel, and thanks for watching. Oh yes, one more thing I forgot. Do not buy this selfie stick. Put a bit more money on, buy a better selfie stick.